Benji here. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to be starting a series based on video game reviews. I'm going to start reviewing video games. So basically each week I will be talking about a video game and my preferences on it. Basically the pros, the cons, the combat, the missions, the story, you know, all the good old stuff about a video game. Basically I will review it from 1 to 10. There will be spoilers, so I do want to let you know that right now. There will be spoilers to that game. The game consoles they will be on are PS4, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So it's the whole shebang, everyone. So I do hope you enjoy this kind of content, because I've always wanted to do it, but I've just been too afraid to do it. So that being said, let's get into it. The game we're going to be reviewing today is Spider-Man for the PS4. This is a game that was very highly reviewed, and a lot of you guys wanted me to review it. So let's get into it. So the first thing you see right when you get into the game is this screen right here. Basically Spider-Man standing on this ledge. I had to admit, this is one of the most breathtaking things I have ever seen. It is incredible. Just the graphics, just the way the suit shines on the sun, it's absolutely magnificent. Magnificent, I must say. So the first thing you're going to see when you get into the game is you're going to be defeating the Kingpin. As you see me beating him up here, yeah, with all sorts of fashion and style. So you see me beating Kingpin up here, and that's basically the start of the game. So after that, I basically did a bunch of side missions. You can too if you want to. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do out there in this game. I basically just scrambled some towers. I basically beat up some bad guys. Yeah. Oh. And I basically did all sorts of other cool stuff as well. But yeah, there were a bunch of other missions that were in the game, but they weren't really based on the real story, so I decided not to put them in this review. However, the next mission I would consider being really important is basically the boss fight with Shocker. So when you do defeat Shocker, he is basically, the reason you're basically defeating him is he's basically being threatened by another person. However, you do not know who that person is yet. That is the whole mystery of the situation. So, you defeat him, and I defeat him with fashionable manner. Yeah, basically I defeated Shocker, then I basically did more side missions and stuff like that. One thing I will really have to give praise on is the graphics of the game. I decided to take some shots of basically me swinging around the city in different environments. I love the sun environment, that is really cool, especially the evening when the sun glows. But my favorite one is the rainy one. The rainy one and the gloom and the doom. That one is absolutely just phenomenal. I love the way the rain hits and the way the gloom hits. It's phenomenal. I love it. So after a few more missions, the next really important one, I would say, is the one where the explosion happens at the Norman Osborn rally. So this one is kind of a sad one because it's also the one where Miles Morales' father died. And it's also where you find out where Martin Lee is the leader of everything, aka Mr. Negative. And that also is the part where Act 1 finishes in the game. On to Act 2, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to hunt for Martin Lee, basically find out where his whereabouts, find out his investigation, find out what he's planning or plotting, which you do find out in this mission as I'm showing you right now. So after I did that mission, I did a bunch of other missions, such as this one of Otto Octavius and solving this puzzle with the things. Honestly, this puzzle, and you're guys are going to laugh about this, it took me 10 darn minutes to solve. I'm not even joking. That's one thing I'm not a big fan of in this game, is the puzzles. However, you can skip them, which is a big bonus, but I don't like the puzzles that much in the game. I did a few more also really cool things, such as toppling over this car, saving people, which I totally failed at on that button sequence. Oh yeah, I love that. And also this helicopter sequence, which was completely epic. I love that they have these like fast action sequences in the game, which make things totally cooler, to be honest, in my opinion. The next really major mission, in my opinion, is when you're Mary Jane, and you go into the subway to investigate more on Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative. But it turns out Mr. Negative had plans on his own. He basically went to the subway and planted the Devil's Breath bomb and took everyone hostage. So for those who don't know, the Devil's Breath is basically a plague disastrous thing. It was originally a cure that Norman Osborn created to cure all diseases, just as genetic diseases, and just everything. But now, as Devil's Breath is a plague that will basically end the world, pretty much. So, in that mission, since Mary Jane and Spider-Man, we try to stop it and stop Martin Lee from releasing the virus, which, as Mary Jane, stops the bomb and saves the day. Yay! So after that mission right there, we basically go back to Otto's lab, and basically at that point, he already has the neural inhibitor chip, and the arms. There's not much you can really do to prevent that. I always tried and wonder if I could prevent him from being Doc Ock, but there really is no way. At that point, he has the arms, he has the inhibitor chip, and I know Peter tries to convince him there's a better way we can fix this, but in the end, he ends up being Doc Ock, and it's kind of sad to be honest. So after that, basically the prisoners from the raft and the prisoners from Riker end up escaping, and also some really big ones end up escaping too, such as Electro and Vulture. And at the Act 2, we find out that all of them have escaped, all the bigwigs, and we find out that it's all thanks to Dr. Octavius, aka Doc Ock. So that was the end of Act 2, and Spider-Man, as you can see here, gets knocked down into the water. So the start of Act 3. This is where things get absolutely nutty, I tell you. So basically the prisoners are out of Rikers, the Sable agents are basically after you, things are just taking a turn for the worse. And on top of that, Doc Ock has released the Devil's Breath virus all over the New York City, which is horrible. So in order to stop him, we basically have to do a lot of stuff. So the first thing we're doing is we're fighting a bunch of bosses in order to get to Dr. Octavius, aka Doc Ock. First thing we do is we fight Electro and Vulture, which in my opinion, and this may sound sad, it took me about 10 minutes to fight Electro. Vulture wasn't that bad, but Electro, he was very difficult because of those generators they have to destroy. That took a long time for me to defeat him, just because of those darn generators, man. Those darn generators, I tell ya. But yeah, I eventually defeated Electro and Vulture. The next two we had to defeat after that whole hallucination level. That was a weird level, I tell ya. But after that, we have to defeat Rhino and Scorpion. That actually wasn't too bad. That was not a bad level. That was actually decently, yeah. But after that, we basically sneak into Norman's office and find out a really, really big secret about Mr. Negative, aka Martin Lee. Basically find out that Norman basically did an experiment on Martin Lee's mother, which turned him into Mr. Negative and just created a whole bunch of problems. And also how and that's actually how Doc Ock and Norman Osborn kind of split ways. It was a big catastrophe right there. So after that mission right there, we went to go defeat Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative. So, in my opinion, Mr. Negative wasn't too difficult. I mean, he had his points, but honestly, he wasn't that bad. But after I defeated him, you have to go defeat Doc Ock. That's actually the final level, defeating Doc Ock. Now that, in my opinion, was very, very hard. It actually, you guys are going to laugh about this one, it took me about 30 minutes to defeat Doc Ock. Okay, so I know that may sound noobish, but it took me, I had it on one of the hardest difficulties. It wasn't Ultimate, but it was the one before that. So that's spectacular. So it wasn't a spectacular performance, but you know. But yeah. So I defeated Doc Ock, and basically the credits started rolling after a very, very depressing scene of Aunt May. I still cry when I see that scene, honestly. That is so sad. But it's very heroic what Spider-Man did, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't. But the credits were rolling, and basically that's the end of the game. This game was incredible. It was outstanding. There were just some outstanding points, and I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. No pun intended. But if I have to give it a 1 out of 10, and this is for me being my first review, I'd probably give it a 10. Honestly, I'd give it a 10. It was just that good. It was incredible. I mean, yeah. I hope you guys really, really enjoyed this video. If you guys have any games you guys like to review in the next video or in the future, leave a comment down below. Also, if you guys have any things that I might have missed from this game, because I could only make this video so many minutes. I actually have 6 hours of footage that I had to basically cut down. So I'm trying to make these videos very professional and very well done for y'all. So this is some content I've always wanted to do. So I do hope you guys enjoy it. But again, if you enjoyed this, give this a like, subscribe. But for now, I bid you farewell.